Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. It's Holy Week, and I want to do something a little different with you this week. In 2008, I preached a Lenten series entitled Crossed Hands, in which I took on the roles of people around the cross and their unique viewpoints on what happened. What tied them all together was a focus on their hands. This week I'm going to present those sermons for you. So remember, I'm speaking as those people, and hands somehow tie them to each other. Today we will hear from Adam, and while he wasn't right there at the cross physically, he was there. I've had a long time to think about it, far longer than anyone else, in fact. Yet, even now, after all the years, I still can't decide whether it's empty or full. My hand, I mean. My hand. What a marvelous creation it is. Soft, strong, tender, rough, so simple, so complex. Caressing and gripping and letting go, your hands can do all those things and more. Seldom, in looking at all the other animals, did I ever see anything quite so marvelous. And yet, so often when I look at my hand, or when I pick something up and feel it in my grasp, the weight of it resting in my palm, I see and feel again. I see it in my hand and feel it all over again. It didn't start out that way. No, it had started in such wonder and joy. God took the dust and dirt of the ground and made me, molded me. Like a potter making a jar, God fashioned me with his hands, leaving God's fingerprints all over me. Can you imagine? God left his fingerprints all over me, sculpting me in God's image, crafting me in such an incredible way that I would be a lot like him. And then God put me in the most incredible, wonderful place, a garden of incomparable beauty. And God gave me Eve to be my partner and companion. Oh, how quickly we discovered how we made each other complete, how together in this garden with God, we had all our hearts could desire. Except there in the middle of the garden, there was one tree. When we had asked about it, God had said no. You must understand, we had free reign over the place, everywhere and in everything except this tree. Oh, we looked at it often enough. It had fruit that looked so succulent from a distance, but then we'd turn away until that day. Eve came to me, and then she held out her hand, and I looked, and my eyes widened. She held the fruit in her hand. It will draw us closer to God, she explained, repeating what the serpent had told her. But he said no, I protested. We will be more like him, she said. And isn't that a good thing? She stood there, and I watched as my hand seemed to move of its own will and reached out and took the forbidden fruit. In my mind, I can still see my hand so full with it. I can feel its weight, its texture. And I still remember bringing it to my mouth and taking a bite. Oh, how sweet it tasted, How luscious and pleasurable it was. It was only later that we encountered the bitter taste of judgment. Hardly had we finished the fruit when we heard God near and we realized what we had done. We were afraid and we hid. He found us and he knew. And in his knowing, we too were forced to face the terrible truth. Oh, we used our hands and pointed our fingers to fix blame everywhere, anywhere else. But we were naked and exposed before him. God had said yes to a life in paradise, and we had chosen no. God had said no about the tree, and we had chosen yes. The truth could not be hid. It is then that I think of my hand as empty, not for what it holds, but for what it lost, for what it can no longer grasp. That was the consequence. No longer were we in paradise. No longer did we walk so freely and openly with God. We had disobeyed. By my hand, sin had come. But let me say this. The stain of sin has made the fingerprints of God on me even easier to see. And they are fingerprints of grace. They are fingerprints of love. They are fingerprints of hope. By my hands, sin. By God's hands, life. Thanks for sharing these moments with me. And remember to let this day belong to God.